Hello everyone, welcome back to If BFB Never Split. This is part 2, where we'll be going over episodes 24 to 30. So, as you can see, I've collided the teams together to make new teams. There are 40 contestants remaining, and yeah, so let's just jump into it. So, BFB 24, the challenge would be the party. Maybe it ends up being like the hosts are like, hey, let's have a party to commemorate the merge. And so they tell the teams they'll hold a party. Anyways, I feel like Iance and Bleh are going to lose here, but you'll see why I chose them in just a moment. But first, rejoin. Yes, we're going to have a rejoin. Anyways, I'll just jump to who I think would end up being the top 10. So this is who I think would be the top 10. Now, Gelatin. Now, these three are far too recently eliminated to rejoin. Also not rejoining are Spongy, Fiery Jr., Dora, or Bracelety. So our top 3 are Loser, Lie, and Pencil. And yes, 2 people will rejoin. But I feel like Lie would barely get less votes than Pencil. It'd be a very, very close vote, but I don't think that she would get rejoined just yet. But other than that, welcome back, you two. So yeah, I'm placing Loser on Bless specifically so he can interact with Winner, and Pencil on Iron so she can interact with the members of her alliance. That was the reason why I had those 2 teams specifically up for elimination. But yeah, starting with Ions, I think the first few safe are definitely Pin and Coiny, then probably Flower, and then Leafy, then Fire, then Bubble, Ruby, and Needle would escape the bottom 2. So bottom 2, Fanny and Lightning. Here, I don't really think Fanny has a whole lot going for her right now. So I think she gets eliminated. Bleh. Winner, Teardrop, and Gady, I think, are all safe. I think Gady would have a heavy focus in the challenge due to their relationship with 2 and her, maybe she ends up having scenes with 2. I don't know. Also safe, Taco, Lollipop, Book, and I think Balloony would escape the bottom 2. And as for these 2, honestly, Cloudy and Balloony are still hanging out together, so because of that, I feel like that Cloudy would end up surviving. So yeah. I'm just going to move this down here to make it a little easier for me. So BFB 25, obviously this is the whole temple challenge. I'll just do what Teapot did and had the other 2 teams that didn't get rejoiners up for elimination. Better name than that and free food. Starting with a better name than that, I think Blocky and Pen would get a lot of focus due to their friendship, so I think they're safe. Also safe are Black Hole, Golf Ball, Tennis Ball, Tree, Basketball, and probably Remote. So our bottom 2, Bottle and Robot Flower. But I definitely think Bottle gets out here. As for free food, Price Tag, I think, is the first one safe. Eraser next because of his scenes with Teardrop. Then probably Barf Bag, Donut, maybe Puffball and Fries. We get some scenes with each other, as well as Bommy and Bell. So our new bottom 2, yeah, I think Naily gets out. Naily just isn't very popular. I mean, I do like Naily, but she just isn't, like, very popular. So, BFB 26, this challenge will be slightly different. Instead, maybe there's just, like, a bunch of, like, debuters who end up coming, and the challenge is to stop them. Anyways, I think Ions and Better Than That are going to lose. So we'll likely have an arc between the Alliance members, so I think they're safe. Pin, Coiny, Leafy, Flower, Fiery, yeah, they're all safe. So the bottom two, Needle and Lightning, but Lightning's probably getting out here. Better than that, this elimination will go very similar, but I actually think Remote ends up getting less votes than Robot Flower because, once again, I think Robot Flower would have some interesting scenes with basketball. Maybe another arc. Like the one you see in, like the one in the actual Teapot where she becomes evil for a bit. But, yeah, now it's time for the, because Lightning gets eliminated, this is where Lightning has her big crash out moment, so, yeah. Anyways, this episode kickstarted an arc on a Better Name Than That, where, they're mad because they seem to care more about winning the challenge. So I'm just going to put them up for elimination again, meaning they're going to only have 7 members, and Bleh is the last remaining team with 10 members, so they're going up for elimination. Bleh, these two are definitely having an arc together, winner and loser. So they're probably safe. Also safe, Lollipop, Teardrop, Taco, Book, probably wouldn't. So Cloudy and Balloony are bottom 2, but I think Cloudy gets out here. Better Name Than That, these two will probably, I think a lot of the members of a Better Name Than That would be like the front and center of the arc. But ultimately, I think this is where Robot Flower gets eliminated. So this episode ends up being, this would be the oven challenge. Better Name Than That, they would try to avoid the oven so they don't die, so they prevent death, but these two definitely do something that goes against that. Meanwhile, winner finds some kind of loser area right outside the oven, which causes a big scene between them, and this is where loser finally apologizes to winner and they become friends again and reconcile. But this ends up distracting them from the challenge and they lose. Oh yeah, and Free Food's also up for elimination. Bleh, once again, winner and loser, front and center of it all. Absolutely staying. I'm just now realizing how most of the people on this team are members of Post-Split. But anyways, out of everyone, I think Balloony gets out, meaning that Leafy and Woody are the final original members of Beep remaining. Free Food, this elimination goes basically the same as the last, so yeah, Marker gets eliminated. I guess the markers won't be found. Okay, I'm just counting up how much we have left. So BFB 39, this challenge would have something to do with the budget cuts. Maybe the announcer ends up coming and 4 ends up going away. So the challenge is to deal with the budget cuts and stop it. But I feel like this would go similar to the to Teapot 15, where Pencil's team just ends up causing a lot of destruction and chaos, and they end up winning. And I'm putting Free Food and Bleh up for elimination twice in a row. I promise this will be the only time where I put the same 2 teams up for elimination twice in a row. I promise. Yeah, so Bleh, yeah, this one's pretty obvious. I think Woody's getting eliminated. Yeah, Beep is definitely falling off. And Bell's the one on free food who I think is getting eliminated. Alright, so BFB 30. Final episode of this part that I'll be discussing. This episode 4 comes back and he's gonna have some kind of big rampage and like killing a bunch of people. But I believe the book's gonna be able to stop him. She'll explain a lot of. I think her and Book and 4's stories really similar. Book did bad things and people didn't want to be affiliated with them. Same thing with 4. He was rude to the other contestants and they didn't want to be affiliated with him. So I think she would end up stopping him. And as a result, for winning the challenge, she gets to choose what teams end up going up for elimination. And she chooses Ions and she ends up choosing her team to be up for elimination twice. So yeah, Bubble, Ruby, and Pencil, all first placers, definitely being safe. Pin and Coiny as well. Flower might get some scenes as well. And these two, I think Leafy stays here. Maybe her relationship with Bubble and Pin would get some screen time. But sadly, Fiery and Needle end up falling behind. Goodbye, my favorite character. So yeah, that's gonna do it with today's episode. From here on out, we will be doing teapot challenges. So yeah, next time once the next episode comes out, part 3, it will be about teapot challenges. So sayonara.